And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes. I'm still in my sleeping attire. I did not feel like getting dressed up for a video today, to be completely honest with you guys. So today we're going to be ranking all of the best I was going to say shooting guards, but small forwards in NBA 2K22, my team. Inauspicious start for your boy Cheap Ludes over here, who is referring to himself in the third person, so you know the fever brain is real. Look, you guys know the parameters at this point, but I will run through them very quick. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. A tier, just a shade under S tier. Maybe they're not quite as good as the S tier guys, or maybe there's one or two, not glaring issues, but small issues that I will detail. B tier, very serviceable cards. You know, you're going to find some guys who are outdated that used to be really good, some guys that are just kind of meh, but very, very usable, especially in the right hands. C tier, middle of the road. I mean, this is where majority of your lower tier limited style guys, your budget players, guys that I think maybe are a little outdated that used to be in like B or A tier might be down in here as well. D tier, super specialist guys, they do one or two things really, really well. And if that's what you're looking for, they can still hold it down. That's about it. Or they are useful for like one or two modes. F tier, not trash. Trash tier, obviously just the worst. Not saying these guys are completely unusable. I did want to make that distinction, but you can do a lot better. I do try to rank these guys individually with a variety of factors. I have like a whole system. So I do rank between next gen and current gen. I don't rank cards based on if they're badged up, but I do provide additional context if certain cards can get badges as opposed to other cards, etc. Especially when it comes to this year, you know, where 2K is releasing sometimes even four versions of the same card that just can get slightly different badges or slightly different rarity, etc. So it makes sense. If you haven't already, go check out the shooting guard tier list and the point guard tier list. I'll link the shooting guard tier list at the end of this video. So let's get started. Justice Winslow Evoed. C. Justice Winslow Evoed is actually pretty good. I'm considering moving him up to B tier because I think this card really is better than a lot of the guys who I think may end up in C tier. I don't know. I'm going to keep him here for now, but I actually like this card. I'm a big fan of Justice Winslow cards in 2K typically, so I tend to overrate them a bit. Alex English. F. I do not like Alex English. If you want to put him in D tier, fine. I don't think he belongs in C tier, though. I'm going to put him in F. I do not like this card. Allen Houston. C. I'd put him behind Justice Winslow, personally. I don't know. Just not the greatest card. I just wish they would have done my boy Allen Houston just like a little bit better, or at least made him a lower overall packable card that I could use. You know what I mean? Scottie Pippen. B. NBA 75 Scottie Pippen is really, really good. I mean, the only real difference between this one and the Tis the Season one is a couple badges that he can't get, most of them dribbling, but the real important one is Deadeye. Like with Scottie Pippen's super slow release, which is very easy to green, but it's slow, having like at least gold Deadeye on Scottie Pippen is very important. Scottie is easily one of the best cards in B tier, at least in my opinion. I love Scottie Pippen. You guys know how I feel about that. I thought I purged all the base set guys out of here, but Paul Pressey is trash. Like, Paul Pressey is the worst. Paul George. Still good enough to be an A tier. Paul George is usually elite in 2K, and I mean, this doesn't really change with this card. The fact that I don't usually factor in like price and accessibility into a card that much. Like, it is part of my ranking system, but Paul George's price and accessibility is at its absolute highest right now, and for that reason, I do give him additional points. Andrew Wiggins. I personally prefer Scottie Pippen over Wiggins, but some people may prefer Wiggins. It just kind of depends, but they're both going to be towards the top of B tier. Anthony Edwards, B tier as well, probably lower on B tier. I mean, this card came out on November 10th. It's just a little outdated. Anthony Edwards is good, though. Bernard King. Once again, I'd never see anybody run this card, but I don't think Bernard King is particularly bad. Slightly outdated at this point, but I think even when he came out, I feel like people didn't give him the time of day because he wasn't a quote-unquote meta card. It was nice to see like a good Bernard King, though. Brandon Ingram. With the Drew Holiday dynamic duo, I would say he's like low B tier, but without it, I would say C tier. High in C tier, but C tier nonetheless. Excellent offensively. Not very good defensively, which is what the Evo really helps with. But like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Brandon Ingram, solid. I can't wait for a new Brandon Ingram card because I will use it. Brent Barry, D. 6'7", dunks pretty well, decent jump shot. It's not the most meta, but I don't mind it at all. He's okay, just plays like no defense whatsoever. Good though. Not too much different. Basically, he's like a better version of like glitched Duncan Robinson. That's like the best way I can describe him. Worst jump shot for sure. That's subjective though. This one hurts. Mystic Tracy McGrady. A tier. I think he's A tier. It's the lack of defensive badges that he comes standard with. I think if he came standard with more defensive badges, I think that he would be S tier, but I don't think he's even remotely close to as good as the two cards that are in S tier, essentially. Brian Russell. I like this card a lot, but he's not C tier. He's like D tier. Same with Cam Reddish. I would put them both right here. Decent defensive-oriented Sapphires that I would put in D tier. They're good for limited, you know. Karis LeVert, not terrible, but like D tier, just kind of okay. Pink Diamond Carmelo Anthony. On next gen, still one of the better small forwards in the game, truly. Current gen, not so great because he can't shoot from the corners, which is a problem, but he's still like lethal other than that. I would put him in like B tier. He'll probably end up somewhere in the middle. Dale Ellis. I like Dale Ellis, but he is outdated. He's a day one card. There's not really much to say there. A good day one card, I will say, but his badge count's just so low. OG and Anobi, one of the more slept on cards, and this is why I love the Moments cards so much, because like they're always really solid. Like I don't think we got any particularly terrible reward card this year. No, a reward card, Moments cards this year. I really don't think we did. All of them have been usable in some capacity. Even guys who are quote unquote like not good, which would be like Jonas Valanciunas and like Sabonis, are still more than usable. Pound for pound, I feel like across the entire Moments board, I feel like those cards have been just like overall better than the promo guys. Not obviously like better cards are in the promo sets, but I feel if you look across the board, there's really no misses in the Moments. There's a couple guys who aren't very good, but there's no one who's like objectively terrible. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the Fever talking. I don't know. Bruce Bowen. Bruce Bowen's still a great 3-and-D card. I like Bruce Bowen a lot. Hall of Fame clamps, catch and shoot. Really solid, easy to time jump shot. Danilo Gallinari. Yeah, I'd put him in D tier. Decent rebounder, great offensive player, no defense, but I would use Brandon Ingram over him. So that's kind of like the line that I'm drawing in the sand. Danny Granger. Granger's outdated, certainly, but still better than all the C tier guys, even still at this point. You're never going to run into this card anymore because the people that locked in for him typically have enough capital to have like a Paul George or a Tracy McGrady at this point, so they're probably not using Danny Granger. But this card was so good when it came out. No, like barely anyone had it. Darius Miles. I like Darius Miles a lot, but it's C tier. It's going to be lower C tier as well. I'm a huge fan of this card, but I try not to be objective with these lists. Detlef Schrempf. Detlef's good, but he does miss so many whites, dude. It's so infuriating. Like, he does. I was using him on my brother's account, and he was, like, actually annoying to play with. Still good, though, especially for a free card. Really solid. Flash Dominique. I would throw towards the top of C tier. Just a bit outdated. Came out in the Flash 2 set. And really this is really the reason he's in C tier, is that Pink Diamond Dominique is incredibly good. Still not as good as Clyde Drexler, I'll say that right off the bat, but still good. I personally would use Scotty over him, but I can admit that Dominique might be a better overall card than Scotty. I love Scottie Pippen. I can't do that to my boy. Elgin Baylor. Outdated and kind of small, but I can't say he's objectively worse than like Anthony Edwards or like Danny Granger. They're kind of like in the same tier, same realm. Franz Wagner. People overrate this card just a little bit. Like I say, budget brain is kind of a problem sometimes. Card's good though, just doesn't play any defense. Makes a lot of whites with that Marion base though. Really easy to green too. Great card. I don't think I can rank it higher than C tier. NBA 75 LeBron S tier. I mean, obviously, there's really not much I can say about this card. It's a Galaxy Opal LeBron. It's one of the more overpowered cards in the entire game. Amethyst Steven Jackson, D. Be nice to see a new Steven Jackson card because Steven Jackson's usually really, really good in 2K. Him and Jason Richardson are two of like the unsung hero cards. You know what I mean? Furkan Korkmaz. Hot take, I can't say that Furkan is that much worse than Franz Wagner, and I know people are not going to enjoy hearing that, but it's the truth. Now, Franz Wagner is better than Furkan, but it's a lot closer than you'd think. Pink Diamond, George Gervin. Not a huge fan of George Gervin, obviously, but C tier, like middle of the road C tier. You could argue he should be higher. I mean, I could put him like right over here. Peja Stojakovic. I hate this card. F tier. I just feel like this card brings nothing to the table. And honestly, he's a season 1 guy. It's not really that. Came out in September. Signature LeBron. Yeah, in the land of kind of outdated cards back here. Still decent. I mean, I would use Bernard King over him, but that may be just me. I'm not sure. He came out so long ago. It's not his fault. I mean, we got this thing out here, this juggernaut of a card. Gerald Green. I like Gerald Green a lot. He plays no defense, but he booms on everyone. Has really easy to time jump shot. For that reason, I'll put him in C tier. Bobby Jones. I love Bobby Jones. He can't shoot the 3 at all, which does hamper him. But one of the best defensive cards in the game. But for my money, like for the position he plays anyway, like I would just run like Scottie Pippen or Andrew Wiggins. If you're playing him at power forward, I mean, maybe you can get away with it to a certain extent. He is a great rim runner, but I just don't know why you wouldn't use, like, for instance, Andrei Karolinko. You know what I mean? Gerald Wallace, A tier for sure. Still great. One of the best small forwards in this game. You almost never see this card anymore, though, which is kind of weird. I just feel like most people who had Gerald Wallace probably have like LeBron and another guy will see it S tier at this point. So that's why you don't see him anymore. Dunktober Vince Carter. Yeah, in the outdated section over here. Still decent, but not really that good anymore. Glenn Robinson, I'm going to put at the bottom of B tier. He's outdated, but I still think the card is really decent. And for that reason, I think he still deserves to be at the very bottom of B tier. He might move down to C tier. Same with like Elgin Baylor. Granger, I think, is really the cutoff. Flash, Scottie Pippen. Still a great defender, just not really that great altogether. Also, there's absolutely no reason to use this card when this one exists. Glenn Robinson III. We'll put him right next to, other Glenn Robinson, his dad. Decent, super decent for a limited rewards card. Pretty good. I'm actually shocked. Glenn Rice, fully badged up. He's probably like low B tier, but I'll put him like high C tier. Little bit better than Brandon Ingram and Gerald Green for his ability to get defensive badges, so I'll put him like C tier. Grant Hill, little outdated, but still usable. I think, this card doesn't really get a lot of love anymore, but it was really good for its time. B tier. Gus Gerard, outdated. C. That's the only reason. Harrison Barnes, not terrible, but like D tier. I mean, if you really love Harrison Barnes, I guess I could see you putting him in like C tier, but I don't know. Hedo Turkoglu, my boy. Hedo's actually so good. I like don't care what anyone has to say about it. People will sit there and tell you his jump shot is trash, but I personally don't think so. It's a very good catch and shoot release. In addition to that, he handles the rock really well. He rebounds and attacks the rim really well. He's just not a great defender. That's his only weakness, in my opinion. Jalen Rose, just outdated, trash. I would use Alex English over him at this point. Jamal Wilkes, defensive specialist. I'd throw him in like D tier. And he's not even that good defensively, honestly. I don't really know what this card even brings to your team anymore. Probably nothing, but he's still got some use. Yeah, because if we have to do a special, like, limited challenge, we have to use guys under a certain three-pointer, I think he's still usable. Vince Carter. Decent. He's just so sluggish. I don't understand why they did that to my man Vince. C. Jarrett Culver. It's not totally trash, but he's not very good. F. Jarvis Hayes. He's like slightly worse Bruce Bowen. I prefer Jarvis Hayes because of his jump shot. I don't know what it is about Jarvis Hayes, but I just like I green more with him than like Bruce Bowen or Matisse Thybulle. So I don't know. I'll put him in C. Jason Tatum. Tatum's still good enough to be in B tier. Just a really slow jumper. That's it though. And he's like really expensive. I guarantee we get an Opal Tatum in the next like 2 weeks. I highly doubt 2K can contain themselves. Oh, another base set guy, but if we get like a decent Jerome Kersey card, he could be pretty good. Jerome Kersey's not very bad. I swear they never let my boy Jerome Kersey shine. You know what? I take that back though, because in 2K20 he had an Evo card during the Spotlight series. That was actually pretty good. Jimmy Butler, defensive threat, decent. Chris Mullin, Still a decent small forward, like, honestly. Pretty much a catch and shoot guy, can attack the rim a little bit, but Chris Mullins decent. Elite flat top as well. Iced out Jimmy Butler, A. I would say he's A tier. You don't run into this card crazy amount anymore. I mean, everyone was like fiendishly trying to get this card for like a week and then completely forgot about it. Still good though. A. This Jimmy Butler, I feel like, is one of the more slept on cards that we've seen this year because there's not much of a difference between this one and this one. It's just like the defensive badges are Hoff for the iced out version, and he's got a slightly better 3-pointer. But like, this card was way better than people gave it credit for, especially with that duo with Bam, dude. John Havlicek. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that John Havlicek is low B tier. I know that's not going to be a popular opinion, but I love John Havlicek. Justin Holiday, I don't like this card, and if you do, I'm sorry. I hate it. I don't know. There's something about his like long arms, but then tiny hands that bothers me. Also, as a Bulls fan, I'm just tired of this dude. Bulls fans like, I don't even want to talk about it. Kawhi Leonard, outdated, but still one of the best cards in C tier, I think. You can make a case for B tier. I just think like the lack of badge additions and hot zones kind of hurts him. Oh, here we go. Here's the Kawhis. Kawhi. It's Kawhi Leonard. You guys know what it is at this point. Like, I will say though that I really don't think there is a huge difference between NBA 75 Kawhi and this Kawhi. I really don't. Like, if you're not playing at the utmost competitive level and have like unlimited funds to spend on like cards and badges, there is absolutely no reason to not pick up the tis the season Kawhi. I mean, for the most part, Kawhi Leonard's going to be a 3-and-D cone for you anyway. That's what he does. You might attack the rim with him, but he has basically everything you need or can have everything applied for the role that he plays on your team in the tis the season one. You know what I mean? Keith Van Horn. All right, I'm going to shock the world here. Keith Van Horn is actually not terrible, like B tier. Horrible jump shot, but really not a bad card at all. And I personally don't mind set shot 4 when it comes to non-point guards. Like, the only time I really don't like set shot 4 is on point guards or like Peja Stojakovic for some reason, mainly because he brings absolutely nothing else to the table. Yeah, he can't dunk, but he can't even like handle the ball or like get past anyone. Keith Van Horn is decent though, and I don't know, man. I just feel like Keith Van Horn's slept on a little bit. He's not bad. Is he meta? No. Is he usable? Absolutely. Kelly Chapuka, with a mustache that strong, I can't put you any lower than D tier, but D tier nonetheless, I would say. Masked KD is still barely holding on to A tier, I will say. KD's KD. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting with this card. All these guys in A tier, you can make a case that they're better than each other. I feel like the only players you can't do that with are the S tier guys. Like, you know, these are S tier guys. You know what I mean? McGrady, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Gerald Wallace, Kevin Durant. That's all preference. Poku. Poku C tier. I like Poku a lot. He is annoying because he's like gangly, but then doesn't want to rebound the ball. I don't know. Moments KD, I would also say is A tier. I don't know, whichever one you prefer in regards to these two. I don't think it matters really. Chris Middleton. Middleton's actually good. One of the more slept on amethysts in this game. The primetime sets had some real gems too. They've done a really good job with players this year, not making anyone too overpowered and everyone being usable. You know what I mean? For the most part. Landry Fields. You guys know I love Landry Fields. That's my boy, dude. C. Andre Iguodala. C tier. Decent. One of the better cards in C. I'm going to move Justice Winslow up. I like this card a lot. I don't care. Larry Kanan. F. His Sapphire would go right here too. Alter Ego LeBron. I think still like low C tier. Like decent enough, but not great. This LeBron, I would say, also goes up in S tier. Whether you want to rank Kawhi or LeBron ahead of each other, it doesn't matter, truly. Mark Aguirre. I like Mark Aguirre. Probably one of the best cards in C tier. I might even put him in B tier. Mark Aguirre is really solid. Matisse Thybulle. Oh, yeah. Matisse is my boy right here. Bruce Bowen, Jarvis Hayes, Matisse, and Landry are so tight. Caron Butler. Low B tier. Still B tier nonetheless, though. I might throw my boy Mark Aguirre up there. Talen Horton Tucker, I'm going to put it in D. I don't like this card. You might. He's got that Sean Marion release with none of the Sean Marion benefits. Like, Franz Wagner's upper is good enough that you don't really notice the Marion base, but Talen Horton Tucker, you do. That gets sent to the stratosphere so much. Mikal Bridges. Oh, you guys know I love Mikal Bridges. Like, absolutely. I'm going to put him like up here in B tier. I like this card a lot. One of my favorite small forwards in the game. Truly. ML Carr. Where is Scottie Pippen? Yeah, C tier. I actually like ML Carr. I'd probably put him up like right here. Can't shoot, but he's got an easy to time jump shot. I always find it funny when DBG uses my account for gameplay videos, which doesn't happen too often because my back luck is horrendous. But every time he does, ML Carr ends up in the lineup, and it makes me laugh every time. Paul Pierce. On next gen, B tier, like low to mid B tier. On current gen, like high C tier. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in C tier. Same with his NBA 75 card. Both really good, but just not being able to shoot from the corners on current gen is just so disastrous. I just don't understand how they haven't fixed it at this point. Like, it's mind-blowing to me personally. Solid enough card, though. It's just like Melo is so good on next gen that it kind of makes it easy for me to put him in B tier. I might put Paul Pierce over here because like Paul Pierce is really good on next gen. Like both of them are. Like this isn't elite budget card on next gen. Purvis Short. Yeah, like slightly better Dunktober Vince Carter, in my opinion. Richard Jefferson. Still good though. B. Mid B tier. RJ Barrett. Yup. By my boy Landry Fields. Nah, I can't put him ahead of Landry. Landry's goated. He does have Rudy though. Yeah. This one's shocking too. Rolando Blackman. B tier. Really solid card. It's just like no one wants to do exchanges because they're never worth it. But like the card itself is not bad. Sadiq Bey, one of my Ruby guys. Like this whole set of rubies is so sick. Yeah, 'tis the season, Scotty. I would throw over here. Like that Deadeye does hurt him. The defense is still elite though. For that reason, I would put him over here. I'd actually put him right behind Wiggins. Wiggins is slightly better because of that Deadeye. That lack of Deadeye does hurt Scottie Pippen a lot. Sean Marion. Marion's good enough to go in B tier. Still usable, just expensive. Terrence Davis. I mean, D is all right, I guess. TJ Warren. A little outdated, but like D tier. Tobias Harris. Still decent, but I would throw him in C tier. I don't know. Let me know what you think of the list down below or in the live chat. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. I know I say that every video. It's because I don't make the decision until I upload it. Like I said, go check out the shooting guard tier list and the point guard tier list if you would like. Obviously, I will be back with more content later. We're going to get some news on what we're going to see Friday. It's a Thursday tradition. Hooray. Peace out, guys.